You are now live, and yes, the cameras are now working, so they will pan to whoever is speaking.
Although they didn't do you.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock. Becky, would you do roll call, please?
Absolutely. Tom Wilson.
Here.
Dave Bally.
Here.
Marvin Williams.
Here.
Rick Humphrey. Jack Scrogstad.
Here.
Thank you.
Public attendees, do we have any public attendees? Oh, we do not, right? Good. Okay, approval of minutes from previous.
We got one. Len.
Well, I thought he was here with his cousin. Do you have anything for us today?
No, I was just seeing what's new.
Okay, very good. Sorry about that.
I have something, Tom, though. Do you want me to say it now or later?
Say
Or?
it now.
Okay.
Say it now.
Okay. Don't want to get too close to the microphone. I don't know. I'm just here this morning because I wanted to make you guys aware of the issue that we still have on the first floor in my election department with the sewer gas. Election day was eye-opening. That was the first time I have sat in that office, and within it was approximately 3 hours, we all had a migraine headache and felt very nauseous. And I guess I'm just very, very concerned for my 2 full-time girls that sit in that office in that atmosphere day after day. And we're just curious on what the status is on that, because basically the hole is still in the floor in the election department. When the girls came in yesterday, it was overwhelming because the office had been closed for 3 days. So they have fans blowing. Again, they had to close the windows because it's so cold. And I just want this committee to know that that's still an issue. And I'm very, very concerned about my 2 full-time girls that work in that full-time 5 days a week. I know I've talked to Wendy. Again, during election, we couldn't move them out of that office. I don't know if that's something we want to look at to move them across the hall now that election is over. But I guess I'm just looking for some input on maybe an ETA or anything. And I know there's some issue out in the hallway also. We've talked about that, Tom, but I just wanted you guys to be aware of that is still an ongoing issue.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll let you know what's going on with it. We've got prices to take care of it. We understand that. But we couldn't do anything before the election because we were told we couldn't do anything before the election.
Right.
So if we want to move the people out, let's get them moved out.
Okay.
So that's where we're at right now. We're going to have to tear all the walls apart to get that soil pipe out. It's about 10 grand, and it's not going to be something that's going to be quick. So we'll get with Greg and we'll get you guys relocated.
Okay.
The best we can do. So we're working towards a solution on that. We've been waiting for the election to be over, and I understand that the smell's still there, but we'll get the girls moved out of there. So did everyone get a chance to look at the previous minutes from the October meeting? Is there any corrections to those minutes? If not, they'll be approved as presented. Animal control, is Terry on?
Terry's not. She reported to me that she has kind of a chaotic morning this morning, so she wasn't going to be able to make it. She doesn't have anything specific to report to you and nothing on the agenda, so I gave her the okie dokie to carry on.
Perfect. Greg Gates, do you have something for us?
I would only reference my report, which the committee should have, Tom, and I can go through some of the most recent developments. Otherwise, I will also field questions from the committee members. In terms of highlights, we are proceeding with ordering electric vehicles, and I think, as I've told this committee and the county board before, because the Illinois Department of Transportation does not have that on their contract, we've been redirected to actually order those 2 electric vehicles through the Michigan Department of Transportation. That paperwork has been submitted, so it is in process. We're also continuing with, because of the delay in actually getting vehicles from production via IDOT, they are transferring some of the more gently used, if you will, from other nonprofits or organizations that also provide public transit. We have received 2 light-duty buses, and we are currently looking at getting 2 minivans from a nonprofit out of McHenry County. At C point, we'll just reference some of the ride data for the last period of time. So I believe that actually should say October, not September. 4,900 rides provided during October service hours, 3,659 miles of service, 98,717 in fuel costs, just over 21,000. And then the last point is the Mass Transit District Resolution, which I think we vetted all the language that we could for both sides, has been agreed to by both county boards, leadership teams, and will be considered tonight by the full Ogle County Board. And then if everything stays on track, by the Lee County Board a week from today. That's all I have.
Thank you, Greg. Mr. Saunders, do you have anything to report?
No, I just got back from vacation. That's the only thing I have to report. I'm just catching up on what I missed.
It's all right. Very good. Thank you. Let's see. Action items. We have a work order review and approval for a board action request form and quote is on the onboard in the committee's only documents. For the public defender, is that for the public defenders, Becky?
Yes.
The first one up is the public defenders,
Yeah,
yes.
the first one's a public defender request for a sink. That work order is in the onboard. Okay.
Yeah, the work order is in.
The work order's in the
right.
inbox, yeah. Right. So we need a motion to approve the sink and what have you, correct? Yeah, I mean, the sink project over there, Charlie has requested a sink in the public defender's office. What was the quote? Do you have does everybody have it on there?
So just to clarify, Bob Thompson requested it.
Was it Bob?
Yeah, it was Bob that requested
Oh,
it.
Bob, I'm sorry. not-
Yeah. Bob requested it. So yeah, it's in there and Greg followed up with getting a quote on what it was going to cost. It sounded like it was going to be just because of the location of their department, a little bit challenging to get a sink in there. And I don't know if you had any information on that or if Greg wanted to share.
Greg, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I sure do. Yeah, I had Hartwood come and look at it. And I know they tried to get this sink passed before, and it's just not an easy way to get the plumbing from where they're at. You have to go underneath a steel beam in the expansion area on second floor, and that is gonna make that sewer line hang down pretty low. So if you ever wanna do anything into that expansion area, it's gonna limit you to ceiling height. Plus you gotta core through 2 cement floors to get the pipe up to the sink and out through the roof, for a venting. Water lines aren't gonna be a real major problem, but the drainage is gonna be enormous. The quote, and this was just an estimate, because till they get the walls opened up, they don't know for sure what they're gonna have obstacles in their way or anything. And the estimate was $19,649.42 for one sink. So I think my opinion is it's gonna cost way more than what one sink is worth.
Is it something we can go and find a different route or a different location for the sink that would help, Greg, or is it just?
No, there's the only closest plumbing there is where Kevin Lally area is. And of course, that's on the other side of this long beam, and you can't go above the beam. You have to go underneath it, and that's where it creates a problem. And hitting the sewer on the other side is going to be real close.
Can we, Wendy, can we table this for?
Absolutely.
I want to table this because I'd like to talk to Bob and let him understand that for that kind of money, we would
I
try to
don't,
find another solution and or just figure out something different.
yeah, I don't want to put words in Bob's mouth, but I don't know that he understood the challenge of physically getting the lines.
I can talk with Bob.
Yeah, so I think that's a good idea.
So do I need a motion to
Motion to
table?
table. He's been ready, wanting to do that for some time.
Okay. Do I need a motion or just can I table it?
It wouldn't hurt, I suppose, to table it.
I'll second it.
Okay, well, Dave, yeah, we got a motion to table it through Dave and then Jack's the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the other thing is, Over in the new courts building, Judge Ackert has carpeting in the judges area. They bought new furniture. So the judges' quarters were to be done. And then we went over and looked at this with Judge Ackert, and they're going to do the hallway and the conference room and the foyer area. And that would make that entire area completely recarpeted and reconfigured. It works in the budget. The first job we're doing over last year's budget. And then the new part of this is going to be done through our $35,000, which we have. Is it 35,000, Wendy?
Correct.
So we have 35,000 in the budget to do flooring. And I think at the end of the day, we'll end up with about a $17,000 balance to use in other parts of the buildings, whether it's in here or wherever. But I think we'll have that left over for the remainder of the year. So, so I need a motion.
Motion to approve, and then I got discussion.
So,
And then, I got a motion in a second. This has been in discussion for quite a while, and rather, in the past, the carpets have gotten so fast, so bad that we had to, all of a sudden, it was a huge budget item, so.
and yeah, we went from 10,000 to 35, which I thought was a decent amount, but we could,
But every year, we know this is ongoing.
yes.
And we know, so that when we turn in the budget, we might not use it all this year, but we need to do something because before any of it got replaced last year, it was ragged.
Yes.
Or not last year, it was several years back.
So can I verify, Tom, that the $10,000, so the request is for $35,220?
Yes.
From 10,000 from the FY 2020 budget?
Yes.
And the remainder from the 2023 budget?
Yes.
Is that correct, Wendy?
As stated, yes.
That's what we have budgeted, but the work orders actually give us some different numbers, I thought.
Yeah. they do.
Correct. So were we taking the $10,000 that remains in the 2020 budget?
We're using all of that towards that because that was 12, yes. And then we're taking the balance out of the 35.
Correct.
Yes.
That's how I would phrase it, yeah. Whatever the balance is out of the 35, next year's fiscal budget,
Yes,
which
and I-
hasn't technically been approved yet, but we anticipate that it will be at your November meeting,
Well, we had, yeah.
And it's all capital.
and it's all capital.
So are you good with that?
I'm good with that, and we're just approving it. Greg is the one that kind of, because of the work order system, it gives us one more step to look at stuff, so.
Yes. And again,
If it's in, if this is an upgrade that needs to be done by our supervisor saying so,
and
in
it's
our
an
budget.
entire, what's really nice is it's actually an entire section of that floor, which is a big deal. So we're not piecemealing stuff back and forth
Right.
together. So,
So I'm just going to also add that because this item was budgeted both in this year and next fiscal year, with the work order process that we envisioned, this committee would approve that if it's budgeted, and it doesn't need to go to finance our full board. If you come up with projects such as the sink that were not budgeted, then that's something that's going to have to work its way through finance and full board, just as an FYI. So this one's a little bit different in that
I mean, as we approve these type of things in the future, would that be a layover for next year's budget where Greg would put it into his budget for the sink being done? Will that just come out of capital?
He could certainly do that if you wanted to lay it over for another year and budget for
I'm
it.
just saying, I mean, I just don't know, as these work orders come in, like Dave was saying, there's gonna be certain ones we can act on right away because we've got money budgeted. But I don't know if there's any money in the budget for discretionary spending for a sink or something that comes up that Greg needs to have done. I mean, I don't think there's any,
I think that's a very valid point because that wasn't on our radar when we budgeted. You will have some options with the ARPA money that's now been reallocated towards capital, but we need a strategic plan because there's a ton of competition for those ARPA dollars with some big projects such as HVAC, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we probably need to have, and finance, remember now,
No,
we'll
for sure.
have
for sure.
we'll have the okey dokey over that ARPA capital dollars. So if you want to use that, then it's going to have to go through ARPA finance and then full board.
Yeah, that's something we'd have. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah, and so on this one, we're not sending this to executive or anything else. We just
Correct.
approved
We're
it, it's
approving
good to go,
Yep.
and
Yep.
Correct.
this is a small section that we're You know, everything else we recommend, but this is a total approval.
Yes, yes, for this project. Yep. Okay, so roll call.
You want roll call? You want
Or
just
not
all
roll
in
call. Do
favor?
you want me to, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Good.
We're good.
Okay, zoning, Jack, do you have any updates for the committee?
A couple weeks ago, I met with the zoning department and Wendy, and one of the things we wanted to been on our things to-do list was to not revamp it, but reorganize the website for the zoning area. And so we kind of looked at it and we kind of brainstormed different things as an outsider looking at it, trying to find things. We just try to make it a little simple. So some of the changes are made. I went to it the other day and looks like it's really nicer or easier to move through. So I encourage members of this committee and all board members to kind of take a look at it. And there's more flowing of it. It just flows better. And so I give kudos to Wendy and the zoning department for getting that done.
Thank you very much. Anybody have anything for Jack? Any questions? Thanks, Jack. Dee, would you like to walk the committee through your report?
Just we'll go through the action items. We have a couple of petitions coming to the zoning board. One in particular is the map amendments over there in the Stewart area. That should be on board, the petition, correct, Becky? And you will be voting on the solar and wind ordinance this month, the county board. And that should be about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Dee? No. Okay, so going to the zoning board of appeal, there's petition 22-P-1603 for special use outdoor storage for recreational vehicles in Lee Center Township. Is there a motion to move petition 22-P-1603 to the executive committee for inclusion on the full county board agenda? Jack
I'll make that motion.
and Dave, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I already did that, didn't I?
Yep, you did.
I did.
All you have to do
I
is,
thought you did Jack and Dave, and then you said,
No, I did. I asked everybody.
Yeah, he did.
We got video now, Becky.
I like all in favor, just so we don't skip.
Okay. So coming, petition 22-P-1597, special use for a community solar project in Franklin Grove Township. Is there a motion to approve petition 22-P-1597 and move to the executive committee for the inclusion on the full county board agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Jack,
Second.
make a motion. Dave seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Petition 22-P-1602, map amendment for Ag 1 Rural Agricultural District to I-3 Heavy Industrial District. Is there a motion to approve petition 22-P-1602 and move to the executive committee for inclusion on the full county board agenda?
So be.
Marvin first, Dave second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Planning Commission, coming to the Planning Commission, none. None, renewable energy. Alice, would you like to give us a report on the renewable energy?
The Renewable Energy Committee has not met in quite some time. We're waiting on the new board to come in before we resume. The next thing that we'll be discussing is the battery energy storage system ordinance that we will be looking to draft for the county. And then this month, like Dee mentioned, we will be voting on the proposed wind and solar ordinances that came out of the Renewable Energy Committee.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Alice? Thank you very much, Alice. Unfinished business, we have none at this time. New business. What am I doing here, Becky? Just,
So it's just a resolution from zoning to set the zoning board of appeals meetings. So
So
she
do I
has a meeting.
just ask for a vote on this, or what do I do?
Yep, we just need approval of the minute, or for the meeting dates.
Okay, so do I do a motion or just by vote?
Just, is there a motion to approve the 2023 zoning board of appeals meeting dates resolution?
Is there a motion to approve the 23 zoning board of appeals meeting dates resolution?
So moved.
Dave?
I'll second that.
Jack seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, executive session, I'm not aware of anything at this time. One other thing, real quick. So we'll have Greg get, since he just came back, which I'm glad he took some vacation time, but Greg Saunders is going to look into getting those girls moved out of that office immediately. If it's an issue, just move them into that other room. And we'll come up with a solution for the remain, or whatever we need to do. And I'd like that done immediately, if not sooner. Another thing I'd like to do is thank everybody that was on the committee. Marvin, thanks for all your years you've been helping out. Thanks for what you've done on the committee. Jack, Dave, I really appreciate what you really stepped up and helped when you're on this committee, and I really appreciate that. Sad to see you go. I would love to have you back, but thank you very much. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Oh, Wendy, would you like to say? Of course she wants to say something. Go ahead, Wendy.
I thought you would never ask. Seriously, just a couple of updates. First of all, at 5:30 on the same night of your regularly scheduled board meeting, which this month is Tuesday, November 22nd, because the Thursday we would normally meet is Thanksgiving. So Tuesday, the 22nd, at 5:30, the board has a truth and taxation hearing. So you need to be here and in your seats a few minutes before that. The truth and taxation hearing by statute has to be a separately conducted meeting from your regularly board meeting. So that's why we have to do it from 5:30 to 6. And we'll adjourn the truth and taxation hearing, and then we will go at 6 o'clock into your regularly scheduled board meeting. The reason we have to have the truth and taxation hearing is that statutorily, if we exceed 5%, our request for funding exceeds 5% over and above what we asked for last year, we have to have by statute a truth and taxation hearing, and we have to have published that in the newspaper, which we have done. Also, to the board members that are going to be joining us back again, I sent out an email regarding some important dates. And attached to that email is a questionnaire that is intended to assist any board member that may be interested in board chair with some information about where your strengths are and where you'd like to serve going forward for the next 2 years. So please complete that and get it back to us. There's been some confusion that that form is only for the newbies, and it's for actually everybody. I don't have anything else unless anybody has any questions for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Wendy. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Jack, Dave,
Yeah.
Dave, you want to do the second?
I'll do the second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you. Okay.